During the last 2 decades, technology went through significant changes. Today, almost every member of modern developed society uses electronic devices. For this reason, it is no surprise that technology is everywhere. It has been strongly incorporated into schools and jobs. The representation of women has been a significant problem, and it seems like that problem has gotten worse with the advancement of technology. Often, magazines, advertisements, movies, TV series, and video games over-sexualize women and men. Now those examples are part of our modern mainstream culture. Women are seen with unrealistic standards. This causes women to feel like they do not fit into society's standards. Therefore, women will try to change themselves physically by having implants or by trying to be extra skinny. Because of the sexualization in video games and mass media, women are often portrayed as sex objects. According to sociologists at the University of Buffalo, who reviewed more than 1,000 Rolling Stone cover images published over 4 decades, they found that in the 1960s, 11% of men and 44% of women on the covers were sexualized, while in the 2000s, 17% of men and 83% of women were sexualized.
Although both men and women face sexualization in the media, women are more likely to be sexualized. The chronic attention caused by the sexualization of women in the media to physical appearance in girls and women leads to the development of feelings of shame and of body dissatisfaction, which is what causes the problems to their health. Young women who experience a greater amount of dissatisfaction with their body are more likely to start smoking, which can lead to health problems in the future like lung cancer. A negative body image in women and girls is linked to negative mental health outcomes, like the onset of mental disorders such as depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Negative health outcomes are not limited to just the mental health of girls and women. Another negative health outcome is the development of eating disorders in the goal of gaining the ideal image of women portrayed in the media. The incidence of anorexia nervosa among 10 to 19-year-old girls during a 50-year period found that it paralleled changes in fashion and idealized body image. The mortality rate for females 15 to 24 years old associated with anorexia is 12 times higher than all other causes of death. Fewer girls pursue careers in STEM fields because there are increased rates of sexual harassment and sexual violence in those fields. People who grow up to commit acts of sexual harassment and sexual violence can be influenced by the shallow portrayal of women in the media through both their appearance and the actions of men toward those women that are displayed as perfectly acceptable.
In modern media, like magazines and ads, men and women are photoshopped to make them look flawless. When models have cellulite, stomach rolls, and stretch marks, the companies simply just Photoshop those out so the women are deemed perfect. Women's bodies are drastically changed in the photoshopping process, so they barely look like themselves anymore. Every single female in this game is wearing the least amount of clothing the game developers could get away with. The issue with this game is that it has such a long-standing fan base that if they were to change the look of the characters, there would be protests. When we were growing up, most girls had Barbies. In recent years, studies have been conducted showing that Barbie would have had to crawl on her knees because her body physically couldn't support her weight. Compared to an average American woman, you can see the severe differences between her and Barbie. Barbie, if she were a real person, would have had extreme anorexia and other medical issues. This issue has slowly been resolved in the last 10 years and is still being resolved today. One of the most well-known cases of oversexualization is Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Lara Croft evolved from this to this. Although she looks more like a real person now, she is still wearing extremely tight clothing, which cannot be practical for running and fighting.
According to specialists in mass media, the representation of women significantly improved over the course of the last few years. According to an article by Leonie Roderick, women are being demonstrated more realistically, and major media companies work with more diverse models which have different ethnicities and body types. This trend continues in toys for children. For instance, in 2016, Mattel introduced new Barbies with different body shapes, heights, and ethnicities, which promotes diversity and confidence in young girls. Another example of great representation of women is the popular animated TV series Steven Universe, in which characters who identify themselves as female have different shapes of body and appearances. The creators of this show successfully represented people with different appearances, and one of the main ideas of Steven Universe is accepting yourself as you are. The video game Overwatch can also be used as an example of good women representation, as the first cast includes female characters from all around the world, which represent different ethnicities and body types. All in all, the representation of women in video games and mass media have changed for the better. But is oversexualization still a problem? Yes, because recent events and scandals in the media shows that women are still under pressure in being sexually harassed. How can we respect women if the media doesn't respect them for more than their appearance?